I was going through my grandmother's wooden jewelry box and I found an item, and you wouldn't believe what it was. Stay to the end to find out more. This is Ellen Thompson-Jennings. Today I want to talk to you about having what you should do with your mementos. So this is a box that I inherited from my mother, who inherited it from her mother. And it was a jewelry box. And today I think we're going to look at the contents that's in the box. Now, if you look at the box, you'll notice that it's wood design. It has a little bit of tape. There are no markings on it, so I'm wondering whether my grandfather made this box because it was something that woodwork was something that he liked to do. And so I'm thinking that maybe he made it. It has a little damage on the top from drying out and where it was connected, the wood was connected. So let's have a look inside. So right on the top is what appears to be a medal or something that somebody would have received from the Legion. It is a 1936 pin for overseas battalions, and let's see, it's for a rally, it says, for a rally. So there's that. There's also this vintage pearl necklace. I know it's vintage because you can see, oh, I gotta get this so that you can see it. It has a vintage clasp, and the kind that where you have to just feed it in and then it sets up like that. So really nice beads. Next is a book that I've had for quite a few years. It is it's actually my grandfather's, and it's called The Life of Mary for Children. It was published in 1892. When I look, there is a date of 1891 in it as well, so we know that 1892 was when it was published, so it's pretty old. And you can tell that the binding is getting pretty cracked and it's falling apart. I do know that in the back there is some cards. So there's some prayer cards and some photo or more prayer cards. And then there's this little package, and it appears to be leaves of some kind. I'm not sure why they were kept and why they were pressed, but they're in there anyways. So we'll put that back together after. All the parts are falling apart. So next, inside there's a little box, and inside the little box is a battalion pin. Now, if you can see this, hopefully you can see this, but it says it's from the East Ontario Regiment, Battalion 2, and I'm not sure whether this is from my grandfather's side or my grandmother's side. So I'd have to go back and look at the war records to confirm whose side it was from. So there's that. There is a duck knife. It's a knife. You can tell it's a little pocket knife, but it's in the shape of a duck. Appears to be made out of brass. Then there's an assortment of Alberta pins and co-op pins that my grandfather would have collected. This appears to be, it's a forget-me-not wedding ring box. So perhaps it's the original box from my grandmother's wedding rings. I don't know. Then there's another pin. It's of an oil derrick. So we come from Alberta, so that's likely something to do with that. And then there's a chain. I don't believe it's of any specific metal, but it's in the box. Next up is another pearl necklace. This one's a little smaller, you can tell. Again, vintage. It has a what they call a barrel clasp, so it twists off. There's also another pocket knife. This one from Lloyd Sads and Anthony Insurance Company from Edmonton. So that would give you an idea of the age, because we could look that company up. Then there is this brooch, and it just appears to be just costume jewelry, but it's quite pretty, quite large. And then in this package there is a card. It's for the Beautiful Bold Man, $1 off regular price cuts. And I guess after you get so many stamps, you get it for free. And it's from the Golden Scissors in Barhead. Also inside is looks like, I believe that's let me see if I can get the right angle, St. Christopher's medal. Not sure what it was off of, because it seems like it's broken off of something. And then we also have another thing, and this one says it is it's Middleborough, and it is a cross, and it was on a chain at one point, but it is no longer on a chain. And that says, there's a little paper inside. Let me just grab that out if I can. And it says Francis Middleborough. So that was the name of my great-grandfather as well as my grandfather. And then finally there's this one box, and it says Grandpa Frank. So I'm assuming this is, I think it's it's either my mom's writing or my grandma's writing. So it's of Grandpa Frank, so that would be my grandfather's father. And in there is a ring with, it looks like some diamonds possibly, but there's one missing. And then there is a sweetheart little pin, as well as this ring. That one feels a little heavy, so I'm not sure what that's made of. Then there is some more little pins. Alberta 75th Pioneer pin. So probably something that was given out. Also an H pin. Now I'm not sure whose that might be, because if I were to say my dad was Harvey, so, but that doesn't make sense that it would be in this unless my mother put it in there. Then also there's a Frank, or an F pin for Frank. Then some cufflinks, like nothing special, and I'm sure not very valuable. Again, some more cufflinks. And this is a watch. Now this one's a little bit, I know it's vintage for sure, given the look of it. And I'm not sure of the brand. My eyes aren't so good. I'll have to check that later. And then tie tack, as well as more cufflinks. And another tie tack, this time of a horse. I mean, tie tacks were something that men, wore all the time with their suits, and they wore suits all the time. And then there's another ring, 3 would appear maybe to be diamonds, but maybe not. Maybe something that just looks like diamonds. And then a couple of other pins. So that's in that mystery box. I have another. We'll check that out later. So I wanted to do a quick little follow-up to the items that I found in my grandmother's jewelry box. So first of all, there's this ribbon with the little badge attached to it. So the ribbon is from the Canadian Legion, and in 1936 they actually had a pilgrimage to Vimy Ridge, and so likely it was given at one of the events at the local Legion Hall. You would attach your own medal or pin to it. I found out that the pin was actually probably owned by my great-grandfather, William Beaton, who I write about in my blog. I call it the Beaton Batten Mystery, so you can follow up on that. The next thing is this medal or pin, metal pin for the 2nd Battalion. And the 2nd Battalion, it says Eastern Ontario Regiment, and it was a battalion that was created during the First World War. Was created in August of 1914, and it was primarily comprised of militia from Ontario and even some people from Quebec. As it turns out, my great-grandfather, Francis Johnson Middlebrough, who was from Edmonton, he started out in the 9th Battalion and then was transferred to the 2nd Battalion, so this is likely his pin. And then finally, we have this cross that is my great-grandfather Francis Middlebrough's. You'll see here at the bottom it has a screw, and I will unscrew that and show you what's inside. Now you'll notice that it says on the back Roma, and it also says Italy. And then when you open it up, it actually says Terra Catacombs, and I believe that's an actual piece of wood from the catacombs. I didn't realize that it had a little sort of secret compartment, so that was kind of cool. I hope you enjoyed this videos, and if you have any comments or can give me any other details about any of the items I found in the box, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.